Alright, so I'm going to play you an excerpt of a voice note I sent to one of my long-distance friends. And I'm going to be talking about the Stockdale Paradox. Now, as a heads up, I'm going to mention some stuff from the Bible. I am talking about it from the metaphysical meaning, not the religious meaning. Shout out to Eric from the Power of I Am YouTube channel, who really turned me on to these ways of interpreting Scripture. So, anyway, I have my own takes on particular things, but I'm going to play this message for you. I would talk about it, but I think it's just better to play it. And then I'll have some commentary on it after. So here we go. So, and again, I think of James Stockdale. I've never heard anybody else talk about this, by the way, the Stockdale Paradox. I just ran into that on my morbid binging on torture and people who've been like Richard Wurmbrand and Jacobo Timmerman and all these guys that had been, kidnapped and fucking black-bagged, and taken to these fucking torture facilities. It is just the worst shit you could fucking ever imagine that they lived through. But, the Stockdale Paradox, he pointed out basically the people that did not make it through the ordeal, it was a fucking nightmare. He said the people didn't make it. They asked him, who didn't make it? He goes, oh, that's easy. It was the optimists. And I will paraphrase what he's saying, or my interpretation of it. It's the people that put conditions on their faith. They were not believing they were going to get out. They're like, surely we will get out by Christmas. See, they were not, and this is their spirits just fucking broke. Because they were making it conditional. Instead of having it right now like he did, where he's like, he just had this internal knowing. He's like, no, I know I'm going to get out. And he said that specifically. He goes, you have to have faith in the end of the story, which you can never afford to lose. And the paradox, again, is having faith in the end of the story, which you can never afford to lose, but also the discipline to face the facts of your current reality, no matter how brutal they are. That, to me, is like the real key. He's not ignoring reality. This is a guy who was being tortured every fucking day. That's right in his face. So as far as ignoring reality, you can't ignore that reality. So it's like somebody having faith that they're going to make it out in the face of being tortured every day for years and not having any clue when he was ever going to get out, So, but he did say that. He goes, oh, that's easy. The people that didn't make it were the optimists. They were the ones that were making it conditional, like, I'm going to be able to survive this because I know I have faith that by Christmas I'm going to be out. I know I'm going to be out by Christmas. And then Christmas would come and they're not out. Well, I'm going to have faith that I'm going to get out by Easter. I'm going to keep hanging on because I know I'm going to get out by Easter. And Easter would come and go. Okay, maybe Thanksgiving. And then he said a Christmas would go and then another Christmas. And they just fucking died. He said they died of a broken heart. Said they couldn't tolerate it anymore. But immediately in that interview, he just said, oh, that's easy. The people that didn't make it out. Oh, that's easy. It was the optimists. So I take that like that to me. Like when you're talking about this stuff, that's what I think about, right? I don't see myself as being optimistic. There's a very big difference, between optimism, which is like, it's making it conditional. You're not giving it to yourself right now. The kingdom of heaven is within, right? Jesus said that. So it's like, to me, being an optimist is like putting it outside of yourself. Oh, I have faith that I'm going to heal. I have faith that it's going to be okay at some nebulous point in the future. That's not what Jesus commanded us to do, right? That's making it conditional. That's putting the kingdom of heaven outside of ourselves. And then when you wait and wait and wait, and what you're hoping is going to come true doesn't come true, then your soul is fucking crushed. That's not what Jesus told us to do. Jesus commanded us to have it now. Whatever you ask for in prayer, you give it to yourself now. The kingdom of heaven is within. It's not out there. It's not in having these things that we want, right? It's the state of being that all these things we think that we want is generated from. That's how I take it. So there's a very big difference between being an optimist and having faith. It's very different. This is also... All right. So I am kind of curious what I said next. I left another 8-minute something voice note, but I tend to veer off. So for now, I'm just going to talk about that. So the Stockdale Paradox. Now, I might edit in a picture of the testicular ultrasound I had done, I think like 4 months ago, something like that, to give an example of something I'm tortured over. You know, speaking of that, like I mentioned those guys in the beginning and James Stockdale and what they went through, but how many of us are tortured every day by what we're doing in here? And then not even just what we're doing in here, but very real physical ailments, physical manifestations of poor health. You know, Eric has a great video, you know, Power of I Am, on the Book of Job. So, I mean, if you look up the Book of Job and the Power of I Am, he has some really interesting insights on that. But anyway, right, Job's body's covered with boils, and it's like he was able to, you know, he had faith and, you know, staying in this state of mind, this positive state of mind, until he was physically suffering himself. So it's like he could deal with his stuff being taken away, and, oh, God gives us the good, should he not also give us the bad? But, you know, then his physical body was suffering, and then the reality really hit him. He's like, okay, now this doesn't feel good. Now I'm struggling, right? Right? Like, so what comes to mind for me as I was listening to that voice note and thinking about James Stockdale and the Stockdale Paradox. So to have faith in the end of the story, it seems like a very big ask, right? So, if I decide to put that picture of my testicular ultrasound up in the video here, you can take a look at that. And as I'm speaking, it's like, this is a kind of a big problem. Like, you know, what goes along with it for me, it's like, okay, I have this physical evidence of feeling emasculated. And it's like, well, of course I'm going to feel emasculated. It's like my nut has shrunk into like almost nothing. You know, and I know in previous videos I've talked about PSSD. I don't consider myself to have PSSD. I consider myself to have sexual dysfunction from antipsychotic damage, as well as potentially Lyme disease and COVID. I had COVID 3 or 4 times. Like I've just had the crap kicked out of me, really since 2019. You know, taking Rexulti and then immediately developing severe premature ejaculation and blunted orgasms. It gets a little complex, right? When I say blunted orgasms, my take is it's probably mainly a function of rapid detumescence, which means I used to stay hard for quite a while after ejaculating. You know, and I actually looked up a study, and there's a bell curve, and, you know, at the low end of the bell curve, it was like men would stay hard for about 18 seconds from, the, you know, after orgasm, you know, and then gradually lose it. And then on the farther end, which I used to be on, it was like up to a couple minutes, you know, or it's like they would stay hard for a couple minutes after ejaculating, and then they'd start to lose their erection. And so combined with the premature ejaculation from the Rexulti was, I also would lose my erection before I was even done ejaculating. So here's the bell curve, right? It's like, here's the low end of the bell curve, the like 18 seconds, and you can look this study up if you look up rapid detumescence and or penile detumescence or something. You know, there's a study was done fairly recently. But, you know, there's the bottom end of the bell curve, 18 seconds. I'm at like, I can't even finish ejaculating in my erections. It's like, you know, goes out, it's like a fucking overcooked spaghetti noodle. You know, like, it's like a, you know, a couple seconds into initiating ejaculation. I'm like, this is not good. This is not good, you know. So I just want to clarify that, because the people in the PSSD community that have like clinical PSSD, you know, they have genital numbness, and then their blunted orgasms are a product of, I think, something else going on. Whereas for me, it's like, I think it's a product of, I don't have genital numbness, although I was very, very aggressively circumcised, and I have an extreme lack of genital sensitivity as a result of that. Thank you, doctors and surgeons and these wonderful people that have destroyed my life. But I shouldn't say that. Again, it destroyed my life. My sexual function was severely compromised by all of these procedures that were done to me, starting with circumcision, and then we have the Lexapro and the Zyprexa, and then the Rexulti years down the road that really put a nail in the coffin. But anyway, we're going to come all full circle. I always do this every video. It's just how my brain works. If I try to edit this down and make something coherent and cohesive and singular out of it, I would just never post anything. So for the people who are here to listen to it, hope you're enjoying it so far. But I'm going to bring this back to the Stockdale Paradox, right? After all that tangent on all of my personal problems, the point I'm making is these are very real physical manifestations of very real problems. And I cannot tell you, like back with my girlfriend at the time, I tried to have the most positive outlook I could have, and it's okay. Got the sexual dysfunction. I'm incapable of performing. I had great performance before. I felt super masculine. I felt like, wow, this is like, I'm not trying to brag, but it's like that, feeling as a man that it's like, oh, that you can perform really well, and that the woman you're with is like really enjoying having sex with you, and it feels great. You feel like the man. You feel like you're on top of the world. And so when that was taken away from me, again, like Job, right? Now I'm suffering. That I'll tell you, I went through it dozens of times. Whether she would directly complain about it and visibly be upset about it, like my lack of ability to perform, or if she was being nice about it, it didn't matter, because I knew. It's like, you're having the experience as a man, especially with a woman you were with that before. It's like we had an amazing sex life. I made a lot of mistakes, right? I'm not going to go, and I don't mean sexually. I mean, in terms of commitment, and there's a lot of stuff I'm not proud of. I didn't physically sleep with anyone else, but this is a topic for another video, with like porn addiction and other. I have all sorts of thoughts about all this kind of stuff. I even say porn addiction tentatively, But anyway, getting back on topic. So we have, because people that are going to be thinking about having faith within themselves, whatever you want to call it, whether you're religious or not, I don't see myself as religious. I think, again, teachings in the Bible to me are like metaphysical. They're like, as again I mentioned, Eric from that channel talks about, I look at it in the metaphysical way, that it's like an instruction manual for our awareness and our consciousness. So this kingdom of heaven within, it's like, how the fuck can I do that when I'm afflicted with all of these things? How can I give that to myself within myself? And it's like, what do I really want, right? What do I really want now? Like in this moment, as I'm speaking right now, it's like, oh, I can imagine in my mind, it's like, yes, that relationship ended years ago, right? I have not dated anybody since. I've had some connections online, nothing in person, right? And this comes to mind, right? I'm like, what if I one of these girls I'd been talking to, well, what if it was just a repeat with my ex? And it's like, oh, it's all great, having this connection online, but then if you meet up and it's like realizing, even though I've mentioned it, that I can't perform and everything falls apart and you're back in the drink again. So this whole tangent I'm going on is to say, I fucking understand. If you are physically suffering and you're like, oh, I'm reading about all this manifestation stuff and trying to give it to myself within, it's like, I get it. I really get it. It's like, how do you think I felt? And this is a partner I had for years. We had sex who knows how many times. No problems. Very high level of intimacy and connection. It was just this amazing sexual chemistry, and then all of a sudden I take this pill, and now it's like within a week I am unable to perform at all. You think I understand a thing or two about physical suffering? It's like, man, how many times, it's like if you're a guy, how many times have you been there, like trying to perform and you can't do it, and then you're getting out of your own way, you're like, I'm not even going to care. Fuck it, it's totally fine. I can't perform. We're going to have this connection anyway, and then it doesn't go well. And then the girl's really upset. I'm like, yeah, like you can see, even if she doesn't say it, or she does say it, but even if she doesn't, you can see she's not having a good time. She's frustrated.
annoyed, not satisfied. And then you go within, and it's like we talk about the inner kingdom of heaven, right? It's like, no, I'm in hell. I'm like, man, this fucking sucks. Now imagine I go through that, right? This is around like 2019, all the way up through like 2023. And then I get hit with fucking Lyme disease. Like, I had a period of 6 months where I didn't even know what was wrong, because I didn't get diagnosed with Lyme disease until like 6 months after I had symptoms. I went to all these doctors, nobody knew what it was. I would eat a very small amount of food, and I would be super bloated all day. I would feel like I had to pass gas, and I could not pass gas. I was burping like maybe every 30 seconds to 1 minute, but could not pass gas out the other end, and that was its own level of hell. Severe bloating, like I'd look like I was fucking pregnant, just have a small amount of food. And it got so bad, this is what got me into dry fasting, because even drinking water when it was at its worst would just make me feel incredibly sick and bloated. And so I got into these regular periods where I just would not eat or drink anything for 2 to 3 days. And for those 2 to 3 days, I would have some level of relief. I felt pretty bad still, but I didn't have this horrible, like, pregnancy level bloating and feeling sick and like I was going to throw up all day, So it was like this 6 months I went through. So this is, you got to laugh, or you got to have a sense of humor. This is after the sexual dysfunction, and I'm trying dozens of times to perform, and I just can't do it. And seeing the disappointment on her face, feeling totally emasculated, and I'm like, well, my life is fucking over. I'm like, and I just wanted to die. Then she leaves, she left. So now I'm alone, and then I'm hit with Lyme disease. And it's like, you can't make this shit up, man. And by the way, while I was going through Lyme disease, for those 6 months without knowing what it was, I was listening to the 2 preachers on YouTube. And again, I'm not religious. I don't consider myself religious. But, I was raised Catholic. And so this stuff was very, like, I'm just familiar with it already to begin with. So I'm like, oh, Job, Book of Job. I'm like, who can I relate to? None of my friends could relate to me. I had nobody to talk to or confide in. I had no comfort whatsoever. So, just like when I was in my teens and I was extremely lonely and isolated and cutting myself and wanted to die because I in my mind, I was like, I'm never going to experience intimacy and affection, never going to have a girlfriend. I'm like, I just fucking hated it, So I found solace in my teens, Just as a thing, I lost my virginity. If you believe I believe men can be virgins, yes, I never had sex. Intercourse specifically, never until I was almost 26. I was like a couple months away from 26 years old. That's when I got with my ex. Anyway, I know I'm going all over the place. Hopefully you're enjoying this, but oh yeah, so we go through, and I'm listening to the Book of Job while I'm going through this Lyme disease after, like, okay, well, I'm totally emasculated. I can't perform. I feel fucking awful. And then it's like my worst fear came true. It's like my girlfriend breaks up with me. This is the only, like, in-person, long-term girlfriend I've ever had in my entire life. Like, we're in, like, a normal, like, real-life relationship where she lived 15 minutes down the road from me. We're meeting up every single day, and, I'm like, well, that was it, I guess. I had that relationship, and, it takes 2 to tango, but it didn't work out. Whatever mistakes either of us made, the point in my mind is like, wow, this got fucked up, and that's it. That's the only chance I had. At least I had my sexual performance, and now that was taken away from me. Erection function, my stamina, my ability to, like, be good in bed, and even to sexually express myself to a woman the way I wanted to. It's a horrible feeling not to be able to do that. It's like you have that passion, you have that drive, you want to be with a woman and feel in love with her and, like, express yourself through your body with her, and then to not be able to do that is fucking torture. It's fucking torture. It's like I have these things I want to express, but my body's just not on board with it. I had this medical damage done, and I can't do it. So, imagine, I spend, like 4 years, something like that, 4 years feeling suicidal over that, and, like, repeated failed attempts at having sex. and then the blunted orgasms, and I'm like, I'm not even enjoying it. I'm like, this fucking sucks. And I wanted to die. And then in the Bible it says what, right? To those who do not have, even what little they have will be taken from them, right? So I'm like, man, this fucking sucks. This really sucks. She leaves me, and now I get Lyme disease. Well, at least I can enjoy food. I can still enjoy eating food. That's something, even though the rest of my life is fucked, at least I can enjoy that. Well, guess what? Now I have Lyme disease, which, if you read about it, it can cause a sort of Bell's palsy of the intestinal tract, and I believe that's what happened to me. My friend, who I talked to that I showed you the voice note from, he had pointed out to me that stuff about Bell's palsy of the intestines with Lyme. And in retrospect, I believe that's what it was. So anyway, at least I can enjoy eating. Oh, well, guess what? To those who have not, even what little they have will be taken from them. And then that was taken away from me. And eating food, like needing to drink water and eat food became a form of torture to me. Because I would eat, I'd be so hungry, and I would eat, I'd feel okay for about 20 minutes, and then the fucking pain would start settling in, the fucking nausea, and I wouldn't vomit, but I felt like I had to. So it was just like, I know that when I eat food or drink water, I'm sentencing myself to 12 to 15 hours of nausea, like severe nausea, stomach pain, severe bloating, and this constant feeling of needing to pass gas and not being able to. And then this constant belching, bloated out like I had a fucking sea turtle under my shirt. And, and that was my life for 6 months, until I finally, my knee swelled up like a fucking softball, and I couldn't walk with it. I had to use a crutch. I got this forearm crutch because I couldn't bend my leg. It was so swollen and painful. I couldn't bend it. And I carried on like that for I don't know how long until I decided to go to a walk-in clinic, and they did a synovial fluid draw on my knee. This big-ass needle they shove in there with the ultrasound machine. And they, did the synovial fluid draw. And I had to wait for whatever, like a week or something. And the results came back. They didn't know what it was. The guy was great. The tech I saw there, the young man who assisted me, looked like he was in his 20s or so. He was excellent. Ironic, right? He's like a super young guy, and he was like one of the best clinical medical experiences I've ever had. Like, he was so attentive and like passionate about his work, and it seemed like he really cared about me. That was awesome. So shout out to that guy. Best medical experience I've ever had in my entire life. So, and he was like, you know what? He goes, I'm going to have them tested again. I'm going to request that they rerun the whatever. And they ran it through again, and then they found the Borrelia burgdorferi, Lyme disease bacteria DNA in the synovial fluid that they had taken out of my knee. So, that's when I got diagnosed with Lyme disease. So, fortunately, the doxycycline they put me on relatively quickly got rid of all of these horrific GI symptoms. So that's cool. I will say, before I trail off, that was not the end of the story. I have dealt with recurrent symptoms for the last 3 years, since getting this thing. So on and off. This is one reason I've incorporated dry fasting semi-regularly into my lifestyle. So if I start getting something flaring up, I will just cut off, like, no water and no food. I'll usually do a minimum of 36 hours. And occasionally I will push to like 48 to like 72 hours. The longest I've gone is 111, so just shy of 5 days without food or water. And typically, my impulse to do a dry fast is brought on by a recurrence of these symptoms. Like, I'll just notice I just feel fucking sick, like nauseous, not well. I might eat something and I'm like, okay, here's the stomach pain, here's the bloating, and I'm like, I'm just going to cut this out for a couple of days. No water, no food, let my immune system kind of ramp up and attack whatever the hell's going on in there. And it seems to have been working pretty well, so that's, mostly how I've been managing that ever since. But, man, so, the tangent I'm going on here, it's like, okay, we got the, like, virtual overnight horrible sexual dysfunction, right? I'm telling you, man, and you'll get this if you're a guy and you know how much, again, you can get metaphysical and spiritual and give it to yourself within yourself. It feels really good to be able to sexually perform. And like I mentioned, I've only had intercourse, like if we're talking strict sex, like sexual intercourse specifically, I've only done it with one woman in my entire life. It was my ex-girlfriend, right? She was the first and the last. And, so the same woman, right? It's like a controlled experiment. It's not like, oh, I got sexual anxiety I'm emotionally entangled with my ex and I got with a new woman. No, I didn't. This is a woman I had been in love with and I had had sex with who knows how many times. And nothing ever was wrong with it. Never had a performance issue a single time. And then I get on this Rexulti and then it's like within 1 week, I can't fuck my way out of a paper bag, So, so that screws me up. Total sexual dysfunction, chaos. I'm feeling really bad about myself now, right? And if you're able to bear with me on my crazy tangents, which I hope you find entertaining. Actually, I know you do. Somebody's watching this that thinks I am awesome for going on these tangents. So shout out to you. Right, so what was I talking about, right? Sexual dysfunction. Oh, and sexual performance, right? And putting stock in as a man, like, yeah, I can perform. That's taken away. And, right, what I'm drawing the tangent back to is when I was like growing up, 12, 13, 14, 15, basically at puberty is when, and then when I got on Lexapro and Zyprexa is when I went mental, and I do think probably some borderline personality disorder symptoms like, falling unhealthily in love with women. It would be like I would get so attached, even from a distance, that it was like I'd feel some special connection. And I'm like, if I can't be with this person, I just don't want to live anymore, And then combine that with like never actually having a girlfriend and growing up with this, telling myself, talk about manifestation over and over was like I hated myself. I'm like, I'm not good enough. I'm going to be lonely forever. I'm going to be lonely forever. It's like it's just this loop, like no woman is ever going to touch me. I'm never going to be with a woman I'm in love with. I'm never going to have this experience of this. And, I was tortured over that for years, through my teens. And it was like that was my whole experience of being a teenager. And then up until I got into my early 20s and had my first, sexual experience with a woman. And it persisted after that. But I'm just saying, all my teens, pretty much what I remember was, pretty much just, sitting in my room and cutting myself, pulling at my hair and like scratching myself. I was like so fucking stressed out constantly. And it was from my loneliness and isolation. So where I'm going with this, if you can keep up with me, you might be the only person in the world, right, to follow me through these insane tangents I go on. But manifestation-wise, it's like perfect, right? I perfectly manifested this life for myself where it's like I'm identifying as this lonely guy I never have love, I never have affection, I'm never going to have the relationship of my dreams, In my mind, it's like I wanted it to be me and one woman, like against the world. It's like I want this partner for life, like we're just totally in love with each other. I think a lot of people have that fantasy, right? But I identified with the opposite, where unconsciously I'm like, oh, I'm never going to have that. And then guess what happened, right? I get into this relationship, and we had that for a while until it fell apart, until the problems started coming up that I didn't know how to deal with, and now this fantasy romance that I was like, I've waited my whole life for this. Finally, I have it. Yes. And then the relationship started falling apart. And then all these things started going wrong. I did a lot wrong, and I just felt like I couldn't fix anything. There's nothing I could do. I didn't know why it was going wrong. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I was feeling. But look, in hindsight, you know what it was? In my opinion, it was the old identity taking over. So, I never gave this love to myself within myself. I put my power to have that outside of me. So what happens, right? I'm idolizing this person, my ex-girlfriend. She comes into my life, and it's like I need her for all this love and validation and all this stuff that I want that I don't have within myself. And as Eric always talks about, he goes, if it's absent within you, it will be absent outside of you for you, because everything is you and it's reflecting you back to yourself. So, I get into this relationship and I'm like, yes, finally. Oh man, it was great. It was great. I remember after the first night I had sex in my life, and this is a girl I was very physically attracted to. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I remember I was like, I wanted to do cartwheels. I put on the the theme song from Rocky. It wasn't specifically that. I'm like a fucking partial anime nerd, so it was Hajime no Ippo. There was a song called Stand Proud, and it was all the horns were going. It's when he wins this boxing tour. So if you don't know that one, just think of Rocky, the Rocky song. I literally fucking threw my hands up in the air and yelled. I was like, I was like on fucking cloud nine. She went home. This is the first time I ever had sex in my life. I don't know how long it lasted. It was maybe half an hour. She got tired, and it's okay for me to brag about it because of the problems I have now. So it's like, nobody tells you that. It's okay to brag and to gloat. It is anyway, if you want to, if that's who you are. It never was who I was, but now that I've lost all of that, I'm like, man, the glory days. I was a stallion. I really was, though. But anyway, so it went really well. First time ever, right? Almost as a side joke there, it's like Benjamin Button, like aging in reverse. It's like I went from like a total virgin being able to perform amazingly well, like I'd been doing it for years, and then it's like after having all this experience having sex with my ex-girlfriend, and now it's like, flash forward to that, it's like, oh, we had sex so many times, hundreds, thousands of times, and it's like, and now I can't fuck my way out of a paper bag, kind of. It's like, I just thought that was funny, the Benjamin Button thing. But anyway, so in my view, it's like it was all a perfect manifestation. It was all perfect. That I was internally being the lonely person. The lonely person that, didn't have it. The love that I wanted it's out there and I'm never going to get it. It's like the guy in Greek mythology, reaching for the fucking grapes. They're always just out of reach. He's like, they're just right there and you can never grab it. He's going towards them and they just move right out of his grasp. And that's been me my whole life until now, right? Because after finding Eric's channel, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. And now it's been this practice of giving it to myself within myself in spite of all the physical evidence. So here we're going on 32 minutes. I'm feeling a little emboldened. I got a comment on my last video. This guy said it was like a gift that I talked for like 20 minutes. I'm like, whoa, somebody said it was a gift? I'm not used to hearing that. I was just about to speak something against myself, because like in the past I was always, like when I was growing up and people, Matt, he was so annoying, like, oh, shut the fuck up. He would just stop talking. He's chatterbox. He's this, he's that. It's like a little gnat, whining in people's ears. Get him the fuck out of here. So, I was like shocked. I'm like, what, people like listening to me talk? Wow. That's something. That's really something. That's pretty spiffy. So, but anyway, yes, giving it to myself within myself. So I've had a lot of things come up recently, and it's just, so if you're, the point of this video is like, if you're struggling with like physical ailments, man or woman, if you're a girl watching this, I fucking understand. Like, boy, do I get it. Do I fucking get it. My nuts, my testicle still looks like it does from that ultrasound. I worry that it's gotten even smaller. Sexual dysfunction has gotten worse, not better. In the beginning, it was just severe premature ejaculation, rapid detumescence, blunted orgasm, but I didn't have ED, and I did not have a shrunken testicle. Now I've got the ED, now I've got the shrunken testicle. Again, what little they have will be taken from them. And man, was that taken away from me. So, oh, and then I forgot to mention the COVID. I got like 3 or 4 times, and I'm convinced that had something to do with it, because, all these problems I've been having, it's like, okay, we got the Rexulti damage. That really sucked. And, I'm living with that still, was like 7 years later. But then we got the Lyme disease and we got COVID. I think I got bit by another tick, and I think I got reinfected with Lyme like last year. It's like, they're just kicking this guy while he's down. Holy crap. It's like, beating a dead horse. It's like I joke about that with one of my best friends, and it's like, oh, the horse is like a literal fucking skeleton, and they're just grinding the bones into dust with a fucking steamroller. It's like, oh yeah, beating a dead horse. It's like, no, man, I died a long time ago. You ever feel like that with your physical symptoms, like these physical manifestations? Which, who knows, maybe they are the physical manifestations of our internal identity. If you're into dark humor, you probably get it. You probably understand. You might have been chuckling to yourself at that dead horse example. Like, you feel like getting another ailment or something else going wrong in your life is like beating a dead horse. It's like, yeah, man, I'm the fucking skeleton. Like Death Valley, this thing died like 100 years ago. It's like almost fossilized. And it's like, oh, we're getting the steamroller out and we're just going to fuck you, grind you into bone meal. Just that last, fuck you. Like, you ever feel like life is doing that to you? It's like, why? You're just on the ground. It's like, you're just getting kicked repeatedly, and you're like, man, But I think there is a point. This is the point I reached, and Richard Wurmbrand talked about this in his book. It was either Tortured for Christ or With God in Solitary Confinement. I especially liked With God in Solitary Confinement, if you identify with loneliness and all of that. Especially when I was in my teens and early 20s when I read that. It was very profound and impactful to me. But anyway, Richard Wurmbrand mentioned in that book, one of those books, there's a point where, like, you have suffered so much. He said you might have this epiphany that, like, nothing matters anymore. And he had the epiphany that included in that subheading of nothing mattering anymore was him not suffering. And he said once you realize that, he said it was just this epiphany that allowed him to just kind of detach. It's like nothing matters anymore. Then I guess he's like, the idea that I should not be suffering also doesn't matter. And I guess he had this moment of clarity that in that book he said was really important, so. Anyway, it all comes back to this internal state of being, and giving it to yourself within yourself. So I've been going through hell lately, and it's like, yes, it is looking like pretty bad circumstances with the physical health, Like I said, we had the Rexulti, and this horrible sexual dysfunction. That was like a worst fear come true. Lyme disease, and it's like, oh, I can't even enjoy eating food anymore. Another worst fear come true. COVID, a bunch of times. Then I lost my ability to exercise. I got this horrific chronic fatigue. And it's like, I didn't mention that earlier too. It's like I used to love working out. What are the things I love most in life? It's like, we have like intimacy and emotional connection and having like great sex with a partner you're in love with. Oh, that's taken away. I love working out. I remember that in the early days of the sexual dysfunction in 2020. At least I can work out. I love working out. I'm going to go super hard on the gym rings, build myself up. I got really strong. Yeah, I mean, okay, my sexual function's gone, but I can still feel like a man. I can feel... Oh, no, take that away from him, too. Take the working out away. I got an umbilical hernia. I ripped something else up here. And then I got COVID. So it was like physical injury and injured my hip. So I have these ongoing, chronic injuries that like totally impaired my ability to do the workouts that I love doing. So are you seeing the pattern here? Identifying as the lonely person that does not have love and is never going to have it. You stretch things out in the long enough timeline, and that manifested perfectly. And all this stuff about, wanting to be seen as masculine, and it's like kind of putting that on a pedestal, right? Idolizing this idea of masculinity, which it's okay to want to be masculine. It's okay, to want to be perceived that way, but you get so obsessed with it. And I have to be this, and now I'm super afraid of losing that, and then guess what happened? That got fucking taken away from me too. Sexual function, and then, oh, great, now your ability to work out and feel strong. I look at my arm now, it's like, oh, it's not bad. Some people would be like, oh, you look like you work out a little, like my forearm and stuff. Because I still do dead hangs, but it's like I used to be way bigger and stronger. Now it's like, hanging out with my friends or something. My dad needed help moving some mulch, and I'm like struggling to pick up a fucking bag, and meanwhile my friend's just throwing them around like a fucking rag doll, or an action figure with like one hand, and I'm like using two hands. I'm like barely able to pick them up. Even my dad, who's way older than I am, not struggling at all, and feels bad, like. So anyway, we got sexual dysfunction taken away. Sexual function, and love and emotional intimacy, take it away from him, right? Feeling like a man, at least I can work out and really get strong and muscular, and people could look at me and go, wow, take that away from him too. That's taken away. Give him some COVID. Throw some COVID at him. Give him chronic fatigue. Fuck up his cardio capacity, so now he can't even work out anymore without feeling like he's going to die. Food, at least I love eating. I can enjoy food. I can just gluttonously. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just being kind of facetious here, right? I am all for gluttony personally. After having that experience, I'm like, go to the fucking buffet. I do believe in a whole foods diet. You should eat healthy, for you. Your body is a temple. But do the occasional binge. Go out with a best friend. Stick to a primarily whole food diet. Love your body, take care of it. But then once in a while, you have a good friend, go out and just fucking pig out and enjoy it. Enjoy the hell out of it. Life is too short. But anyway, enjoying food. Well, I don't feel like a fucking man anymore. I feel totally demoralized, and I just want to end my life. This like super, intimacy and emotional connection and great sex I want with a woman that I'm in love with and, is in love with me, and that's gone. Well, at least I have a good friend. At least I have a really good friend, and we can enjoy going out to eat together, hit up, like I just said, hit up a buffet or even go to fucking McDonald's, whatever. Oh no, let's hit him with some Lyme disease. Go take that away. Take that away from him too. Go take that away. I was left with fucking nothing, So it's like when I was going through that Lyme disease, it's like we have no affection, no intimacy. It's like I felt like nobody in the fucking entire planet cared about me, much less a partner. My partner was gone. She left me for someone else. I'm not saying that's bad, by the way. I don't hold that against her at all. I am largely the one. I remember hugging her and telling her I loved her and said, I love you, but I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore, So, like, what is she supposed to do when somebody says that, So, just to be clear, I'm not holding on to, like, resentment or, oh, she did this and poor me because she left and what of this. I'm like, no, it was more or less a mutually, you know what I mean? It was like we just had to go down different paths, So this is not a resentment thing. I'm just saying, objectively speaking, partner that loves me and cares about me, and I'm going to have this affection and care and everything. I'm looking around, I'm like, where? I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm on the fucking floor. I'm like bloated up like I'm fucking pregnant. I feel like dying, and I'm like, there's no comfort anywhere to be seen. It's just me and my fucking telephone, my cell phone. I think calling them telephones is hilarious. It was like that David Cronenberg thing. You ever see that ad? Go look it up if you haven't seen it. It was like David Cronenberg. It was like a spoof. He does an ad for the Apple iPhone. It is such a sadness that you think you have experienced a film on your fucking telephone. Get real. It's like you gotta see it. It was so fucking funny. Oh man. Oh, you gotta see it. So anyway, I'm on my telephone, my cellular telephone, and I'm playing The Two Preachers audiobook because I felt too shitty to even sit up, and I'm like, I can't open a book and read it. That's definitely not happening. So I would just lay down on the floor and put on The Two Preachers, the Book of Job specifically, and I just had it on fucking loop. Hit the little settings thing, go to replay or loop, and I would listen to it all day. All fucking day long. Not every single day for the whole day, but it was like usually at least a couple hours a day to a few hours a day, and some days it was all day, just morning to night. Especially, times I couldn't even, well, no, not the times I wasn't eating. The dry fasting was the one solace I had, and then I could enjoy like playing a video game or like playing guitar, doing something I enjoyed, So no, the fasting I probably didn't do. That was the only time I felt able to do anything, was when I wasn't drinking any water or eating any food for at least a day or two at a time. And frequently 3 days. I did quite a few 72-hour dry fasts. Um, but anyway, right, so yeah, I was just sitting there. It was me and my cell phone on the floor playing two preachers reading the book of Job. And I love that video, like I pointed out, the one Eric did, Power of I Am on YouTube, the book of Job, victory after, or sorry, it was loss after victory or something. It's something like that. If you look it up, I highly recommend it. That video was fucking awesome. It's awesome. But until I found that, I didn't have that at the time. I was just listening to the book of Job, and I'm kind of going by my own interpretation, and I didn't really know what to make of it. I just felt a sense of kinship or a kindred spirit, in Job. I was like personifying him as if he was a real person that was like spiritually there with me, because I felt completely fucking alone. I felt so fucking alone. Even more so, than when I was younger, when I was like in my teens, and it was like, the girlfriend fantasy thing, and I just sit in my room fucking cutting myself up, wishing I had a girlfriend and that I wasn't alone. I was so desperate, to have that relationship with a woman, and, just to have even like the physical touch, just physical affection and the closeness, even like holding hands and stuff. I was so fucking, it was like I was sucking cortisol through a fucking fire hose every day. And the, cutting myself up with razors was the only way I could get like an opioid release endogenously, It's one of my theories on like nurturing and affection, and how, I think self-harm can be a surrogate for that, because you do get an endogenous opiate release, so to me growing up, it's like, oh, I really wanted a hug, and I'd have these fantasies about, wow, this girl I had this crush on, and like I'd give anything just to just have some comfort. It's like, oh, if she was here, like hold my hand or something. Like, well, I don't have that, so the way that I self-soothed was cutting myself. You do get kind of a massive opioid release, and even all the blood, and it'd be bleeding all over the place, and then the care, like the wound care, was like a form of self-love and soothing and touch, so it'd be like I'd be looking at my arm bleeding all over, and I didn't want it to get infected, so it required, and I still do this to this day, on and off. I get stressed out, and it's like, it is what it is, but I'm not saying it's healthy, but it's, the only way I had learned, to love myself, which I'm working on getting past that, but it's like I get into these intense states of distress, and still, I'll get overwhelmed, and it's like, there's something about harming yourself and then seeing the blood and then having to care for the wound. It's like a self-nurturing, So, anyway, what am I at, 47, 48 minutes? I love this. I could do this all day. I find it very cathartic. I'm just hoping it's not like, I don't want to be like projectile vomiting, my issues into the webcam, and oh, post this on here. I want you watching this to get something out of it. I'm not saying all of these things so someone can feel bad for me. I don't need any fucking sympathy from anyone. I'm learning to have this within myself, and realizing it doesn't matter what you get out there. It doesn't matter if you get the partner. It doesn't matter if you get the love that you think you need from outside of you. It doesn't fucking matter, because I am telling you, I've been there and I've had it. I've had the sympathy. I've had the physical affection. I've had the sex and the intimacy with a woman I was in love with, and it was taken away from me because I did not have it within myself. I was still identifying as, I'm not good enough, I hate myself, all this other stuff, and all that bullshit. Again, especially since finding Eric's channel, a year ago or whenever it was, when he posted the famous whiskey video. That's when I really started making this shift, And it started with Robert Smith's Faster EFT back in 2014. But to me, as great as that method is, and it is amazing, it works. If you want to try something amazing and quick, look into Eutaptics, But the way I'm thinking about it now is you could just bypass all of it, just go pop over to Eric's channel and start applying, right? Giving things to yourself within yourself, and just say, fuck whatever's out there. Because I know if I get it from out there, when I have not changed what I'm giving to myself in here, it is going to be taken away from me. I know, because I've lived it. had that fantasy fulfilled. All these years of loneliness, and I'm cutting myself. I had times my ex, like, you know, I had like cut myself up and she'd be holding me, and I mean, we had some very intimate moments, you know. I had the nurturing. I experienced it. It's a beautiful thing, right? I remember in the mental hospital when I was 15 years old for the first time, I cut myself up all over and, you know, cut me some slack, right? I'm 15. My brain's all fucked up. I'm on all these goddamn neurotoxins, you know, like Lexapro and Zyprexa. And there was a woman in her 40s, I would guess, you know, at the time, maybe mid-30s. But she was in the mental hospital on suicide watch just like I was, because she had been violently raped. You know, she was in there and she was screaming, and she's saying, oh, this guy was clawing at her and just fucking pinned her down. It was horrible to listen to, and she was like crying her eyes out. She was a fucking mess. I mean, you're not in fucking suicide watch in the emergency room when you're, you know, just coming back from a nice, you know, you're out walking your dog and sucking on a lollipop and, you know, listening to some fucking, you know, happy music on your earbuds. Like, it's you're in the ER on suicide watch. You're probably not having a great time. Just gonna hazard a guess at that. So anyway, speaking of like the nurturing and stuff, right? That did manifest for me. I remember, you know, this woman who had been raped and she was really freaking out. But I'm 15 years old. I'd pin her at maybe 35, 40, something like that. And at some point, you know, I was in the emergency room all night. But at some point in the night, you know, I was crying and I just put my head down on her lap. She kind of like took me into her lap and she just put her, you know, her hand on my head. So I'm on like this and her hand was just on my head and she's doing one of these, like, you know, like soothing me. Oh, man. Yeah, that brought back some emotions, you know, but let me collect myself here. And I remember she was singing to me, you know, and she said she wished, isn't this crazy? She said she wished that she could have been my mother. Isn't that wild, you know? But again, you know, cut me some slack for getting all soupy right now. I was 15 years old at the time, you know, come on. I cut myself up all over, and yeah, it was a beautiful moment, you know, it really was. But anyway, so it's like I had things like that, experiences where I received, right, from the outside, you know, this like nurturing or affection, like even though you could say it's few and far between, I received it, but I never knew how to give it to myself within myself. So in every situation, it ended up being taken away. The old identity is what was continuously proven to me right up until this moment as I'm recording this video, you know, because the point I'm making here is it's all connected. That younger version of me at 15, you know, and I remember even being 10 or 11 years old and having feelings for this girl in my class, and even at that young age, you know, then being devastated when, you know, she stopped talking to me and, you know, spiraling out. So even from that young age, you flash forward now, it's like I'm going to be 37 this year, and where am I now? It's like, we got the shrunken testicle. Who knows what's going on with that? It's not good, right? It's not good. We assign values to things. It just is what it is. The sexual dysfunction, all these other things that are proving to me the identity that I have been up to this point, right? Which was the, it's the lonely, the not good enough, the this, the that, the speaking against myself, not having the... So anyway, what I've been doing lately, you know, following Eric's teachings is, you know, despite the sexual dysfunction, despite the atrophied testicle and all this stuff, I am doing this practice of, it's like, no, fuck it, I'm done. I am fucking done with that old identity. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Where's my partner? Where's the woman of my dreams, right? Is she here? I don't see her. Is she in the room with me? No. You know where she is? She's in here. It's giving it to myself within myself. This unconditional love, this like relationship of my dreams, the health, the sexual function, the job of my dreams, the being able to be independent and finally have my own life, because, you know, I've had all these mental issues and it's like I still am like dependent on my parents and all this other shit. Independence, financial independence, relationship of my dreams, job of my dreams, the best customers ever, friends that care about me and I care about them, having fun with my friends. Give it within yourself. All here. You just take it out. No, it's out there. I'm telling you, remember the grapes, you go reach for the grapes. I'm like copying Eric here. his mannerisms. I just think it's fucking funny. So I will do that once in a while. I'm inspired by some of his, I call it his like gremlin voice. I can't get it's like he's fucking hilarious. I got to give credit to where it's due. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I borrow something from someone like that, I got to give credit because I'm not trying to be a fucking copycat here. I just think it's fucking hilarious. So do it in my own way. In the grapes, I always thought of that with the grapes. You know, the guy reaching out. I'm like, what a fucking nightmare. I'm like, oh, what do you mean a nightmare? That's been my life. There's the woman out there, right? Woman I have a crush on or something, and it's like, oh, the fucking, dick not working, your fucking nut shrunken, and it's like those grapes are, no, please love me, please. And it's like it's just out of reach. You're never gonna get it. You're never gonna get it because you're putting it out there. You know where you're gonna find it? You go reach back. Oh, right here. It's already within you. Stop reaching out. The grapes are always moving away. You come back within. Grab it within. So I'm just here again. What are we at? Fucking 55 minutes. If there is a single person in the world that is still watching this that needs to hear this message, I'm going to wrap this up with that. So, again, give it to yourself within yourself. And I am here to tell you that you can do it even when things look like they have completely fucking fallen apart. Again, that like testicular ultrasound, that's not good. That doesn't look very good. And it's like I'm still going to be claiming this anyway. Right? Sorry, I'm just going to be totally uncensored here. Yeah, I mean, I had a memory because it's like my ex had complimented my balls. It's like, oh, this, that. And I'm like, oh, well, guess, feeling really good about that compliment and putting it outside of myself. Well, guess what? And then that gets taken away from me. Not so big anymore, right? You look at that picture, it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like putting all this obsession on the external validation and wanting the praise and wanting the admiration, and you need it from out there. You need it. I don't care whether it's women, whether it's your like I don't know, whatever you do for your job. You have a hobby or you have something and you want people to be applauding and cheering for you and everybody thinks you're great. You put that outside of yourself and guess what your life is going to be. Remember the grapes? That's going to be you. That's who you're being when you're putting all this need for validation outside of yourself. Just think of that. It's like, man, who am I being when I'll tell you who you're being when you're doing that. Fuck. God damn it. You just feel the little grape skin at the tip of your finger. You just barely fight. Almost have fuck. And now it really goes. Now it's like fucking, now it's got like nitro boosters on it. And it just fucking, now it's like shooting to the other side of the fucking room. And you're just like, oh shit. And you're just fucking clapping like, oh my God. Those grapes are going all the way. We're getting the fucking nitro boosters. They're going to fucking, they're going to Pluto. Now you're never getting those grapes. You're never getting them now. You're never getting, at least you had the illusion that you thought you could get them before. Now you're never fucking getting it. So, anyway, again, message here. Give it to yourself within yourself. Stop reaching out. Right? So I'm here to say, look, I got the ultrasound done. You're just going to have to take my word for it with the sexual dysfunction, but these very real, and the fucking hernia, the hip injury, the fucking chronic Lyme disease, all this other. I've been through some real shit by this point in my life. I think that's safe to say. And so I'm here to tell anybody struggling with a similar thing, again, give it to yourself within yourself. What do you got to lose, right? You don't have, somebody commented on a video the other day, it's like, I got no job, I got no girlfriend. They're not here, the job, the girlfriend, again, where in the, here it is, with the job, the grape, or the grapes, the job grape and the girlfriend grape are reaching out, you're never going to fucking get it. And then guess what, even if you do get it, it's going to be taken away from, I got it, yes. You know what it's going to do? You grab that, you got a fistful of grapes, you're about to pop them into your mouth, they're going to sprout little fucking Quidditch, like Harry Potter. Pop them in your mouth, they're going to sprout little Quidditch wings and they're going to fly the fuck away from you. That's just how it is. Right? So, until you learn right? It has to come from within. So take the time when you start spiraling, and trust me, I get it. I still have these episodes to this day. So they'll spiral out, and I'm like all emotionally fucked up, and it was like some girl I'm super emotionally attached to, having a current experience I'm going through, and it came up, and it's like, yes, it was an impetus for me to start cutting myself again, because it's the old identity coming back. It's the reaching for the grapes. It's like, here's the love, here's the affection, the emotional intimacy, the connection I want with this woman, life partner, whatever. Reaching out. Can't get it, spiral out. I need I need this to feel better, cut myself up. It's just the old identity coming back. It's all it is, So, and notice how all these things can line up together. How, the loss of sexual function, the testicle shrinking, all this stuff is related to what I, have put conditions on for, like, I want this, like, love and intimacy, and I need to have these things to get it. And guess what? Those specific things that I thought I needed to have this thing outside of me to fulfill me were all taken away. So let it be a warning. And also, I'm not giving up on myself, by the way. I'm not giving up. It's not the end of the story. So wrapping it all back, because this is what I fucking do. I am the best at this. It is amazing. I don't give a shit what people think. It's great, too. It's my YouTube channel. I can do this. I can ramble for an hour and 1 minute long like we're at right now. And I'm going to tie it all back to the Stockdale Paradox, because that is how my brain works, because it's fucking awesome. Right? You can tie it all back to that. Even if nobody else in the world can follow me, if they can't, well, I am sorry that your brain is not like mine, because I'm having a great time. I hope you're having a great time with your brain, because I feel super blessed to have mine. I love being me. I love having my brain. I think it's fucking great. And in line with that greatness, I'm going to wrap everything back up to the Stockdale Paradox. So, again, the faith in the end of the story. You must never confuse the faith in the end of the story with the discipline to confront the facts of your current reality, no matter how brutal they are. So for me, the brutality would be the fucking, I had COVID, like whatever, like long COVID, fucking chronic Lyme disease, fucking hip injury, potentially a couple hernias, the sexual dysfunction, the fucking atrophied testicle, and all this. It's a lot, right? That's the brutal reality, right? Now, what does it mean confronting it? I think it means looking it in the eye. Eric had a great video that comes to mind about lions. I can't remember what he titled it, but it was something about the lions. He mentioned the whole thing about in the Bible, like being thrown into the pit with the lions, and but I think of it as like looking them in the eye, right? It's like not being afraid, because like Eric always points out, it's like if you ignore it, it's because you see truth in it, because you're afraid of it. You don't want to look at it because you're afraid of it. And that's exactly how I've been feeling, right? So like with the testicle and this, and it's like, oh, I'll look down. It's like if I'm going to take a shower, and it's like, oh, I'll look down, and the first thing that pops in my mind is like, oh, I'm fucked. It's over. Who am I being, right? So again, that's not, what am I giving to myself within myself? This is the last thing I will leave you with, right? Is you are always giving yourself something, so make sure it's good, right? So this is where everything wraps up with the Stockdale Paradox, is have faith in the end of the story, but what is unspoken is you are always having faith in the end of the story. The question is it a good story? Is it the story that you want for your life? Because you're always telling one, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. It's just how reality works. So you are going to have faith in the story no matter what. So it's either, are you going to have faith in the story that has the shitty ending that you hate? Like one of those books you finish and you're like, man, one of my friends said this one time. He said, you ever read a book or like watch a movie and it was like, what was the point of that? They're like, it's like, feel bad about this. The end. The end. Feel bad about this. He just said that. I told him he said that, and he didn't remember saying it. It's one of the fucking funniest things I've ever heard. He's like, oh, well, that was a great movie. You know how I'd sum that up? It was just, feel bad about this. The end. It's like... Oh, man. Yeah, and that is what... It's so funny because it's true, and that's what most of us are doing with ourselves, right? We're having faith in the end of the story, and we don't even like it. The story we're giving to ourselves unconsciously is just, feel bad about this, the end. Like, so like once you realize you have the ability to pick up that pen and start writing a new one, fucking throw that shit in the fucking fireplace. Fuck that book. Get rid of it. Fuck it. It sucks. Throw it out. You ever hear of book burnings? Throw that shit in the fucking fireplace. Fuck that book. So you just get a blank one right now. You just pull it out. We're going to make a new story. And you write what you want in there. And whatever you're currently experiencing, here's like, right, the discipline to face the brutal reality of your current experience. Start assigning meanings. And this is what I've learned from watching Eric's videos for free on YouTube. You know, is start saying things are happening for you. So it's like, yes, okay, the sexual dysfunction, the fucking testicle shrunken, the fucking COVID, the Lyme disease, the this, that, it is all happening for me, right? We have the ability to assign meanings to our experiences. So it is what it is. We're the ones that call it good or bad. So you might, no, this is happening for me. I claimed that my end is having the relationship of my dreams. I am like wildly in love with a woman that is just perfect for me. Checks off all the boxes. It's like I am in bliss every day. And it's just amazing. I'm having like and here's another one, right? I'm like super aggressively circumcised. Somehow I have amazing sexual sensitivity. I'm experiencing sexual pleasure with this woman that I'm in love with in ways that I never could have imagined were possible. I'm in heaven, right? My health is amazing. I'm able to work out. I feel strong. I feel masculine. I'm just on top of the fucking world. And that's what I'm writing in there. And this is crazy, right? I can feel that right now in my current body with all of these symptoms. There's no woman next to me. I don't see her. Where is she? Where's the amazing sex? Not that we could be having it on camera right now or I'd get in a lot of trouble. But even if I wanted to, I couldn't because she's not here, right? But she's here internally. It's already done. I'm telling you, I know I sound fucking insane right now, but I'm here to tell you, and this is what Jesus talked about in the Bible. If you're not religious, I'm not religious. Don't get hung up on all that bullshit, right? About whether it's this or that. Look at what he taught. I don't care if you're an atheist, totally secular. Just, Mark 11:23-24. I tell you, if you look at this mountain and throw itself, tell it to throw itself into the sea, and you don't doubt in your heart that it will happen, it will be done for you. Mark 11:24. Pray as if you've already received what you're asking for, and it will be yours. It doesn't mean it's going to be yours in the future. Oh, it's out there. Remember the grapes? If it's, you know what out there means? The grapes. Think Greek mythology. He's reaching out for the grapes. It's out there somewhere. No, it's in here. The kingdom of heaven is within. So again, I'm here to say, yes, facing the brutal reality of your current experience means these are the physical manifestations of your old identity. Again, for me, it's it's the ED, the premature ejaculation, the fucking shrunken testicle, the all, COVID, Lyme, it's almost too much to fucking keep track of. So it's almost like fuck it, fuck it. I don't care what I see out there. I don't care what I'm seeing here. I have the ability to go within and give myself the state of being that I am attaching to these external things that I think I need those. I think I need to take those grapes and just, I could feel this with me. If I could just reach those grapes and just grab them and just, No. You're never going to reach them that way. Stop reaching out there. The kingdom of heaven is within. Come back within. Feel it within yourself. I know it sounds insane. But if you really understand that you can access this, in my mind, I'm like, this could heal the entire world. It could. If everybody understood this, if everybody truly understood this, it could heal the whole world. And remember, that starts with one person. So like, even if not a single person watches this video, I'm getting a tremendous amount out of recording this for myself. So anyway, give it to yourself within yourself, right? Use me as an example. I'm claiming this right now. I just told you what I just claimed. My dick is circumcised to shit. I was super aggressively. This guy had a fucking field day on me. That surgeon that cut me, I had everything taken away. Some guys, they might have like a little snip. They have like most of their foreskin left. I'm telling you, I have fucking nothing. Frenulum totally ablated. Scar line like 3/4 down the total length of it. It's fucking bad, right? I've often used the example of my sensitivity feels similar to the back of my hand, So all that's very real physical thing I'm experiencing. I'm still taking out my pen and I'm writing it in that fucking story for myself anyway. I don't fucking care. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Oh, but you can't have sensitivity because you were I know. I'm writing it anyway. I'm in the relationship of my dreams. I'm in fucking bliss. And you know what happens when you write all these things? That it's like, I'm strong, I'm healthy, I have this. When you give it to yourself now and you don't put it out there, nobody can fucking tell you that you don't have it. It's like, yeah, I just claimed it within. I didn't say that I'm bringing it in from out there. I'm going to wave a magic wand and it's going to show up on, I'm going to claim this by December 11th. It's going to happen. You know what that reminds me of? The Stockdale Paradox and the Optimists. So again, hour and 10 minutes into the video, I'm going to wrap this all up again. It's the Stockdale Paradox, right? It was the optimists that died. They couldn't fucking handle it. They died of a broken heart because they were attaching these external conditions to their internal salvation. And we're not holding that against them, by the way. I personally think the best solution is for people to stop being horrible and stop doing horrible things to people. That would probably be the solution. That's so we're not holding it against, but using it as an example. Right? So when you're saying it's going to happen by then, I'm not writing in this book for myself and claiming it right now as something that is some future event that I am contingent on, that my internal kingdom of heaven is contingent on. I'm not doing that. I'm feeling it right now. I can tell you right now, my eyes open, I'm sitting here in front of a webcam by my fucking self, like a fucking crazy person. I can feel it internally. I can imagine, oh yeah, it's my wife back there. We have a kid on the way. She's fucking beautiful, right? I mean, she's like watching me record this, and I am so locked in to whatever I'm doing, right? Like laser focus, that I don't have any self-consciousness. She could be listening to me talk right now, and I'm just, I am who I am, unapologetically. I'm always in this, I can be in this flow state whenever I want, because God is within me. This is indwelling spirit, right? The kingdom of heaven is within me, and it's also within you. And that's what I'm here to tell you, is it's also within you. You don't need me. You don't need, like I mentioned, like Eric will say that too. It's like he teaches people this. He wants people to get to the point where they don't need him. I'm here to tell you, right? It's inside of you. So it's like, and I know what it's like. I know what it's like, whether you're a man or a woman, whoever you're into, but like to be fantasizing about some partner you want to be with. You start putting it outside of yourself and putting them on a pedestal. Never put anybody on a pedestal, because the second you do that, you're reaching for those grapes. And now you have taken this kingdom of heaven within yourself and you have just thrown it out. It's still there. The kingdom of heaven there, but now it's somebody else. It's in somebody else's control. It's under somebody else's jurisdiction. That's something else is going to be manifesting for you, right? Just like our unconscious mind with all these patterns and programs and unconscious things that were instilled in us from childhood. I know all this stuff about trauma and, borderline personality disorder and avoidant, whatever, this, that. There's attachment styles. Yes, it's all, you want to summarize what it all is. It is all you. It is all internally coming from you. It's just you're not aware of it, and it starts creating a reality loop where you keep experiencing the same thing over and over again. Maybe the characters change up. You get a different girlfriend, different boyfriend, you get a different boss, different customers, switch businesses, switch jobs, and the same fucking thing keeps happening because it's all coming from you. So, all right, so take your power back. I'm gonna go have a great day right now. That's what I'm gonna do. I have some work to get to, and if I'm like, man, I just want to take a break. Here's the thing too, as far as like sex and intimacy, it's like, oh, how can I even do this? How can I visualize this? My equipment isn't working. You don't have to fucking do anything physically. You just lay there like this. I'm just doing this because it's relaxing to hold my hands here. You don't have to do anything. You just fucking lay down. Eyes open, eyes closed, doesn't matter. Any point of the day, at any point you want, you can just fucking go there mentally. Right? Like I just did it right now. I just have it. Oh, my wife. Just tap me on the shoulders. Like, come on, Matt, you got to wrap up. We got to get, we got to go out grocery shopping. Go get some food ready. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm just wrapping up. Just give me a minute. So you have to be full on delusional. It's so funny because, yes, I know I sound like a crazy person, but is it not crazy to be sitting in your room hoping that you're going to find someone one day that is going to fill this void inside of you, and then just spend fucking over 23 years locking yourself in a fucking bedroom intermittently and hacking yourself up? That's not crazy. That's not crazy. Talking shit about yourself isn't crazy. I fucking hate my life. I'm never going to be alone forever. That's not crazy. But then, imagining amazing and wonderful things, and again, from Scripture, this is what Eric also quoted on his channel. This is where I got this from, right? Is God speaks of things that are not here as if they are here. And then Jesus said to be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Oh, so I should be like God. Oh, so I should speak of things that are not here as if they are here. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah, I'm going out with my wife. This is great. I'm already in the relationship in my dreams. I already have it. Why do I need to be reaching out for these fucking... What do you mean reaching out for? I already have it. I'm so fulfilled. You can actually, like, if you get to a point where you start practicing this and you can actually feel it. So, anyway. That's about all I got for now. And again, one thing I remember from Zen, I know I talk about scripture and all this, but part of my background, a major part of it, is Zen and Taoism and Buddhism, but specifically Zen and Taoism. I'm really big into those, and I've learned so much from them. And there was one story that came to mind. I was like, maybe I should wrap up with that. It was just at the tip of my tongue. I just lost it. I'm like, which one was it? It was... Well, anyway, maybe we'll remember it for next time. But it is a Zen story, right? So I love the parallels with this because I know some people have real hang-ups, like religious trauma, and like they hear Jesus or Bible and they're just like, they can't do it. Again, this is a programming thing because I'm telling you, you could be an atheist and think all this stuff is BS and still get the same amount of value out of the Bible as like someone that totally believes. Because I'm looking at it from a metaphorical standpoint, not a religious standpoint. And I don't think of myself as an atheist, though. So anyway, I'm just saying, I would like to bring up the Zen and the Taoist stuff because I do find it very fascinating. And I've been having all these epiphanies, like watching Eric's content. Like, whoa, looking at the Bible like this. That reminds me of this Zen koan. This reminds me of this story from the Gateless Gate collection. This reminds me of a story from Lietzu, a Taoist guide by boy, did I blow that. Lietzu, a Taoist guide to practical living by Ava Wong. One of my favorite books. Reminds me of that. Oh, this story, that story, that story. So, I'll have to talk about that another time. I think here, we're coming up on an hour and 18 minutes just about. So, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to do some audio editing to polish up the voice over here. Maybe splice in a picture of my shrunken testicle for the world to see. Because we love that. I love this for me. No, but seriously, again, give it a good meaning, right? It's happening for you. So again, I'm here to say, and I get it, man. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Despite what is happening in the physical world that I am looking at, it is what it is. Just fucking do it anyway. Write down the life that you want for yourself. Mark 11:24, the fuck out of it. Right? Just whatever you ask for in prayer, believe you have received it and it will be yours. So just believe you received it. Like I said, get specific about what you want. Because even that too, I'm like, oh, my wife tapped me. Do I want a wife? You have to get specific about it. Some people might be like, oh, I want whatever you want. Just get clear about it. It's another thing I'll leave you with is think about, we've spent so much time believing that we can't have what we want, that we've spent no time thinking about what we do want. So even if we had the freedom to choose, we wouldn't even know what the fuck it is. You never thought about it. What do you want? Oh, your problems are healed. What do you want to do now? And it's like, shit, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. I can't think of anything. It's like, well, okay, well, go think it over. That's a sign that you should be fucking thinking about that now. Go write it down now. It's like, if you don't know what you even want and what your desired reality would even be, then how the hell is it supposed to happen for you? And then the funny thing is, once you do know what it is and what you do want to experience, you can just give it to yourself within yourself. So... anyway. Yeah, I'm almost like recording this video out of a sense of obligation. It's like I didn't even want to do this. I just felt like I had something to say, and I felt compelled to record it. I have absolutely zero intention of like building a YouTube channel out of this. I just kind of want to share my thoughts, and whoever's meant to find it will find it, and hopefully it helps you out. Now I got to figure out a title for this video because I covered so many topics. I have no idea what I'm going to call it. So anyway, thank you for watching. And remember, give it to yourself in here. So if you find yourself reaching out and you're spiraling, because this is generally always why we spiral, or reaching out. You want this person, you want this thing, you want this experience, you want whatever it is outside of you out there, and you suffer. So again, remember, give it to yourself within yourself.